What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to On the Topic Of, and today we're going to be talking about the PlayStation meeting. So it's a little bit different of a kind of episode. Pretty much what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going announcement by announcement that was made at this week's meeting, and then I'm going to give my opinions after. So that way you guys can kind of get the news, and then you can get what I think, which is, kind of how we do things here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so starting things off, we've got the PlayStation 4 Pro coming out on November the 10th for $399. Now this thing supports 4K content but does not feature a 4K Blu-ray player. It has double the GPU power and the CPU power is a little bit better. That pretty much makes everything run a little bit smoother even if you don't have a 4K display, so you can expect some higher frames per second on most of the games that do support it. Mainly the improvements were to support 4K at 60 frames per second if a developer could get it to that, or if they could kind of upscale the graphics, the 1920 by 1080, and you can kind of make that look like 4K. There are a couple of corners that can be cut to achieve that 4K resolution, which is pretty much where the PS4 Pro comes into play. This also supports high dynamic range, which is coming to all versions of the PlayStation 4, so I'm not really sure why that's one of their selling points of the PlayStation 4 Pro. I'm just the guy that reads the news. I don't understand why they did that either. Overall, you're getting a smoother frame rate, better lighting effects, higher resolution if the devs choose to support it, and of course there is 4.2 teraflops of power versus the 1.84 of the original PlayStation 4. Okay, so right off the bat, this thing, I don't know who was thinking this was going to be a good idea, but I kind of understand what they're getting at. This is supposed to be for those elite console gamers who want to get a better looking game, who want to squeeze the most performance out of their console, and it's pretty much trying to make the console space into a PC space, where you can pretty much choose your, I suppose medium quality would be what the equivalent of the PlayStation 4 would be, and then this is your higher quality thing, and then of course PC, unfortunately, I know a lot of people don't like to hear it, but that is your ultra setting, so this is kind of trying to get that high setting for most games for the console market. And to be honest with you, not many people that are looking to buy a console are going to be purchasing one based off of what the graphics of the system actually do. Obviously, the PlayStation 4 generation is overall the best graphics that you can get, but for anyone who is really into the 4K resolution, the constant 60 frames per second at a 4K resolution, more than likely those people have or will go for PC gaming. So to have this console that's completely dedicated to the fidelity of games seems to be kind of missing the mark for what the console market itself actually is. So as we're going through all these news stories, I'm going to be going in order of significance, or at least what I considered to be most significant, and the next thing that I thought was pretty notable was the PlayStation 4 Slim, but it's just called the PlayStation 4. This thing is going to be coming out in most markets around the world on September the 15th for $299, and this is that console that was leaked over the course of the past couple of weeks that just looks like it's a different kind of PlayStation 4. It's a little bit slimmer, it's a little bit more power efficient. Overall, there are no technical improvements. It does not really improve on the performance of the original PlayStation 4. It's just a sleeker model to kind of complement the new look of the PlayStation 4 Pro and kind of unify the look of the entire line. Overall, I don't really care either way on this one. It's cool that the PlayStation 4, the original, basic model, is now $299, which means it's still going to be pretty, it's a pretty good competitor whenever you compare it to the original Xbox One and the Xbox One S, but overall, there's nothing really to see here. It just looks a little bit different. And of course, there were a slew of accessories that were announced, including a new DualShock 4 for $60. That has a couple of small changes, including the light bar is now visible across the top of the controller, which isn't that significant of a change. I can kind of understand how that would come in handy for Media Molecule's Dreams, I believe is what it's called, something along those lines, where the light bar does play a significant role in it. But aside from that, don't really understand why you would do this. Also USB communication support in addition to the as expected Bluetooth support, so there's that. I guess if you're a competitive gamer and you want that instant feedback, I suppose that's what they mean by USB communication. And overall, it's just a new look for the DualShock 4 for the new consoles. Again, nothing really to see here. Then there was a PlayStation camera redesign that was announced for $60 if you don't have a PlayStation camera already, and it is exactly the same as the old model, except there is a new design. And of course, with this thing being required for PlayStation VR, you can expect a lot of people are going to be buying these PlayStation cameras and PlayStation Move controllers, so to kind of make a new model of the PlayStation camera is just a no-brainer. Obviously, the old one kind of fit the old design of the PlayStation 4, so to have this new design that doesn't really have any increased specifications will probably increase sales sales a little bit, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. It just looks to fit better with the PlayStation 4 Slim and the PS4 Pro. I guess that's what they were going for. So next up was the most interesting thing that I think Sony did announce at this press conference, and that was the Platinum Wireless headset for $160. Now, this is their highest-end headset to date. It's made of premium materials. It has 7.1 virtual surround sound with 3D audio technology. There is a hidden mic, and it is compatible with the PlayStation VR headset, which is very, very cool. Now, when it comes to headsets, I have had some of Sony's headsets in the past. I didn't have their Pulse headset. I think I had the lower end of the wireless ones that used to have the little USB dongle that was compatible with the PlayStation 3. I ended up getting rid of that one. Now I have a silver wired USB headset, which is not that great. To see this Platinum one coming out for the PlayStation 4, number one, it's compatible with PlayStation VR, which is very, very cool. Number two, it just looks really nice, and to see them getting into the space where they're competing more with companies like Turtle Beach, you know, that are going for the PlayStation/console market overall, I just like it whenever they make their own peripherals. Although it might be overpriced, it certainly looks good, and it's going to be a go out and get it now, supposedly for everyone that's a fan of PlayStation. It looks very, very cool, I must admit it. And last but not least, there was a vertical stand announced for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro that'll run you about $25. And if you don't like laying your console down, you can turn it on its side for a fee of $25, which is a little bit ridiculous. So right off the bat, the PlayStation meeting for 2016 was not what people were expecting whatsoever. Neo was expected to be the competitor for Project Scorpio, and it very well might be, but for right now, to cough up an extra $100 for a PS4 Pro that a few games do support and might run marginally better, I suppose it's great for those that have 4K televisions, for those that are looking to get more towards the PC side of things, which if you're buying a console, it doesn't make much sense. I just don't know why PlayStation would choose to make this Pro model of their PlayStation 4. They were on such a streak, and this just seems like kind of a stumbling of sorts. That being said, the long-term success of the PlayStation 4 Pro depends entirely on which console it's going to be competing with, and the success of PlayStation in the long run, if they can maintain their lead over Xbox, depends on what the PlayStation 4 Pro is actually competing with. Hear me out on this one. If this console is literally to compete with the Xbox One S, then PlayStation 4 Pro is definitely the console that you should choose to go with. It has that 4K support, except for the Blu-ray drives. I don't understand that one, but it has the 4K content support. It does have a little bit more power, significantly more power than the Xbox One S, and several games do run better right out of the box on the PlayStation 4 Pro, with more supposedly coming as time does go on. Now, the question is how many developers are going to go back and patch their games to support this new kind of system. How many developers are going to make their games to where it does run better on the PlayStation 4 Pro as opposed to the original PlayStation 4. I know Mass Effect Andromeda was shown off, but it's 4K at 30 frames per second, which is kind of a sending mixed signals, so to speak. That right there, that would definitely make the PlayStation 4 Pro win, I suppose, for this console generation. Now, if the PlayStation 4 Pro is Sony's answer to Microsoft's Project Scorpio, then you've got 6 teraflops, if I remember correctly, for Project Scorpio as compared to the, give or take 4.2, I believe, for the PlayStation 4 Pro. Needless to say, it's quite inferior of a console if you're competing with that next generation of consoles that Xbox has coming out the gate sometime next year. Overall, you guys know me. I'm excited to see how this thing is going to sell. I'm excited to see the adoption percentages, how many people go out and trade up their PlayStation 4s to get this new PS4 Pro. With the holidays coming up, I can't wait to compare it to the Slim model, you know, quote unquote. It's just going to be very interesting, but to be honest with you, I think the Pro is a huge mistake. I think the accessories are kind of cool, I guess, if you're changing the look of the entire PlayStation line, but there was still no Vita. Come on, Sony, where's the Vita? Like, you didn't even include it in the PlayStation family? Really? You're not even... It's like your child. You just abandoned it out there with nothing. So there you guys have it. I hope you have enjoyed this breakdown of the PlayStation meeting. If you did, drop me a like down below and let me know what you thought about the meeting itself. Will you be getting a PlayStation 4 Pro? Would you even consider buying one if you were in the market to get one? If you aren't looking to get one right now, let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And if you happen to be new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other content, I do upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week depending on the week. So there's always something new right here on the channel when you do drop by to watch some videos. But as for right now, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon, and I'm going to go play some Journey, which is free for PlayStation Plus members for the rest of September. So if you already have a PlayStation 4 and you're happy with it, go get that free game. But I will talk to you soon. Peace.